party
What?
that Puff Daddy held. He's sitting right there. Old TD Snakes.
Amen.
They there twerking and everything. TD's
Church leader Gino Jennings meets Ted Jakes head-on and asks difficult questions about things like having sex with guys in a condescending and domineering manner. Jennings doesn't hold anything, while detailing Jake's poor connection with P. Did he, in his presence at the parties given by the music moguls, that significant article that generated quite a commotion in our neighborhood, you know? He appears to be presenting images of Jakes at Puff Daddy's party, hinting that he is aware of what goes on at Diddy's parties and is opposed to the bishop attending the expensive dances. No, spirituality is not tolerated. Jennings has been preaching a lot recently. He stresses how crucial it is to devote your all to God, portraying it as a choice between heaven and hell, accepting God's commands or not, and standing with God in the struggle against the devil. Bishop Jakes appears to disagree with this. Jakes, who looks astonished by Jennings' sermonizing, wrote Jennings an email letting him know how dissatisfied he was and warning him about the dangerous ramifications of his actions. In an effort to protect his good reputation, Bishop looks to be behaving suspiciously. According to sources, he advocated requesting authorities to put a halt to Jennings' initiative. In response, Jennings makes a clear challenge to Jakes to a public discussion where they aim to genuinely address their disputes. When conflicts between the two religious leaders grow, information concerning Jakes and Pete duty that has been disclosed may lead to regulatory action. In a speech to his congregation, Jake refutes the claim that he pursues futile undertakings. While recognizing his shortcomings, he also highlights the significance of moving on and not accepting incorrect information. "I know who I am, so I didn't come here to persuade you or anyone else," he continued, hinting that he didn't even believe people deserve an explanation. "That's not precisely the objective of this. You are allowed to consider any subject you desire." But as we watch it unfold, Jennings and Jakes are beginning to feel nervous. It draws attention to a philosophical dispute that is worsened by their dissimilar techniques of public speaking and preaching. Jennings appears to feel that Jakes should not have been at Diddy's party, as it raises issues about his morals, his religious views, and his hidden conduct. There are a ton of hypotheses, sophisticated conspiracies, and efforts to terrify Jennings owing to his unpopular ideas. If Diddy is involved, it's nothing new, and it looks that Pastor will have to pay a steep price for coming out. The public is expecting this planned public debate in the hopes that it would explain the major concepts and the developing disagreement, despite the rigidity of both pastors over their viewpoints. As the tale continues, it looks that yet another well-known individual risks losing the faith of the general populace. With every meeting, the drama builds, pulling in viewers and promoting debate on the morals and conduct of these well-known characters. There is more to the disagreement than only two people's differing perspectives. It turns into a forum for polar opposite viewpoints and a moral inversion. However, many people still retain the idea that these stories are nothing more than the meaningless gibberish of little children too young to grasp. Jake doesn't even look worried about being caught. He is so sure in his degree of safety. "The worst that could happen if what he stated came to reality is that I would have to really apologize. The blood can properly atone for all faults. The blood would end it all, so I don't have to feel bad about it." A hostile news TV footage went viral on December 18, spreading charges that Jake was acting abnormally courting Diddy and creating connections with members of the same sex. Jake gave a stunning address to his congregation, in which he declared that he would now teach the truth rather than continue to defend falsehoods. Jake continued to assert that he had nothing to hide in the face of the criticism. He made it very clear to his flock that he would not use his position of power to disseminate misinformation. However, it appears that doing so has merely made them more dubious. Someone once stated, "It's not uncommon at all to avoid addressing sin while you're living in it." A separate person commented, "It's pretty clear that Bishop Jakes isn't refuting any of the charges that he engaged with guys of the same gender and kids. He is only expressing that he will not reply to concerns about himself from the pulpit." Unfortunately, unsubstantiated rumors that Jake had supposedly attended Diddy's events were making the rounds on social media. In an attempt to maintain the pastor's image and distract attention away from this fast-growing worse, his public relations staff aggressively disputed these claims as baseless. TD Jakes' image as a Christian leader may suffer severely if his assertions were made public.
I don't know. He also said Diddy distributed firearms and was selling.
It may diminish their moral authority and lead to a fall in public trust in these leaders. With all of the legal difficulties Diddy is presently experiencing, he is hardly the greatest guy to be linked with. If additional information about TD Jakes is made public, congregation members may begin to lose trust in the organization and its values. Bishop's life is the only one in peril, and Jennings, a pious man himself, is mindful of what may occur should the storm develop. He worries that since B. Dregel is a well-known religious person who socializes with the upper class, those who disobey will ultimately come to light. These instances influence not just the individual organization involved, but also the wider view of religion in society. Accusations made against religious authority may heighten the public's skepticism of organized religion and confirm pre-existing views. This lack of confidence may result in a fall in religious participation and a reluctance to connect with spiritual or religious groups, which might permanently harm the image of religious organizations. The victims of the alleged misbehavior would presumably face psychological and emotional distress, feelings of betrayal and disappointment, as well as major concerns with confidence in society. Victim narratives lose credibility when religious leaders mishandle or hide these claims, and a culture of silence is promoted. Such occurrences harm Jakes' enterprises not only financially, but also mentally. In the aftermath of the most recent, latently untrue and unjustified charges against Bishop TD Jakes that are spreading on social media, it is evident that his staff is making every attempt to distract attention by publishing their denial statements. The institution's finances might be stressed, compromising its long-term viability. If contributions fall, fewer persons register, and legal concerns develop. Should it come to light that Diddy really committed a crime, he may have to spend time in prison. The claims made against Diddy and Jakes have major significance.
I will not use this sacred day and this sacred pulpit to address a lie when I have a chance to preach a truth.
In front of the congregation, and you give it to this man. Was that for the congregation to give more money? Or was that really genuine? See, when no one's watching, who are you?
The Lord said this man is not a man. He is not a heterosexual man. His name will be named by the people he has been with. His scandal will involve his sexual orientation, and God says that this is when people will finally see who they have been following with a lot of these pastors and spiritual leaders.
A big scandal that extends well beyond Tinseltown whispers will burst if it turns out that TD Jakes was engaged in the conduct for which he is being probed. Everyone is aware of how strange Diddy's parties can become. Furthermore, a few victims and witnesses have already indicated how uncomfortable they find these occasions, which enhances the chance that unethical acts are taking place there. Remember how 50 Cent remarked, "Look, if you like that, you into that, I'm good with that," expressing his anxiety that he would never receive an invitation to Diddy's party? This isn't my mother F sort of party, just to be clear. Everybody to their own. It's not comfortable. The matter has now been polluted by the information that Gino Jennings and TD Jakes supplied us by implying that speaking out would have ramifications by the way he treats everyone who attempted to dispute with him. Jakes appears to have a strong connection with the record producer. The poor reputation of religious leaders such as Jakes prevents prospective new members from joining. Victims of Bishop's alleged misbehavior, such as those in the Peak Diddy case, may soon submit fresh details about his activities at these legendary parties. Social power imbalances might make it more difficult for victims to come forward. Also, victims' reputations could be hurt and their time of concealment extended by inadequately handled cases or information hidden by religious authorities. Jakes' changing lifestyle, his excessive use of resources, his reduction in support and attendance, and, most all, his damaged respect, will cost his organizations money. In addition, everyone associated to Diddy might suffer if he is found guilty of any misconduct and suffers legal ramifications, including possibly prison time. This obviously reveals that TD Jakes' staff is making every attempt to dispute the horrible claims. People want institutions to act properly and to be honest and responsible. Naturally, religion is where it all starts. It was claimed that wickedness is generally connected with puff parties. If Jake wasn't preaching and delivering sound advice, he had no business around fluff. Another individual added, "These people need to be held responsible, and other preachers have the power to confront them about their suspicious behavior." Thankfully, there are still good individuals in the world who follow God's example and aren't hesitant to speak out against injustice and immorality. Let us know your opinions in the comments area below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for future videos. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for future videos. We shall see you next time with fresh developments from the celebrity world.